Alright, hello everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Mukluk Streams. I'm your charming, self-proclaimed, and slightly medicated host, Mukluk, and we are picking back up in Rogue Trader. Last time we played, I had to leave kind of in a rush because I had to get to an appointment to get my face messed up, specifically getting a root canal. I have had that done. I am very sore and also medicated, and ready to continue where we left off in much less of a rush. Don't seem too badly medicated. Well, it's a bunch of ibuprofen. it's painkillers. Hello, Mr. Slightly Drug-Free, Mukluk Reginald III. Only slightly drug-free, yes. Hello to all of you. Are you enjoying this more than Wrath of the Righteous? Right now, I would say equal to. Now, granted, I've only played one chapter of this, and I've played all of Wrath of the Righteous, and it was wonderful, but right now, I would say equal. Okay, so, we had left in a hurry last night. And I skipped some conversations. I would like to go around and talk to people because we just finished chapter 1 and started chapter 2. And let's see, Cassie is up first. Let's see what she says.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Tell me about House Orcelio.
As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them.
Lore Imperium. Is the Orcelio prophecy system named after your ancestor?
You are shrewd indeed.
Yes, I am.
My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say the Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relate this tale seep with disgusting green hubris. I think Colleen Orcelio was simply a skilled navigator.
They didn't even give you the good stuff? They gave me a prescription to take to a pharmacy to get, like, Motrin, but my wife looked at it because she was going to pick it up for me, and she was just like, this is just ibuprofen. And I was like, okay, do we have ibuprofen? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I need some. And she brought me some, and that was last night. And when it kicked in, I was like, oh, I can uncancel the stream. I feel much better now. Sparkle Speed says, what game is this? This is Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It is a CRPG. It is made by the Sublime people at Owlcat Games that made the Pathfinder Kingmaker and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous games. I take it House Orcelio has a rich history?
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Coronis Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor.
For the glory!
Blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
Who rules the house?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a navigator house. It is the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, the transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Auronto Orcelio is ensuring the stability of the house.
You lived in a seclusion on a closed station until Felix committed his sabotage, so then you must be the Novator's successor.
So says Regent Auronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden.
Let's speak of something else.
By all means.
Let's talk about us, shall we?
Right here? Are you sure?
The only option is let's break up. I didn't even think we had a relationship. I flirted with her once and it didn't work. I guess the game considers us to be an item. Argenta.
Greetings.
What is it that is keeping you in my retinue?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
Ord says toothache. I had a bowl of cereal this morning, and I was chewing it all with the left side of my mouth, and I was like, all right, let's test the right. And I took one chomp with the right. Let me just say I regret that very much. I was like, oh, mother. Oh, it was bad. I was like, if I'm not chomping with the right-hand side of my mouth, I'm okay. Like, you can see it right now. I'm able to talk. I'm able to speak clearly. I do have a few ibuprofen in me, but yeah, chomping with the right-hand side is a big no-no right now. Let's see. I enjoy your company, Argento. I hope you remain in this crew and that this ship becomes your home.
Those are very courteous words, Rogue Trader. Thank you, both for your words and your hospitality.
She gives you another puzzled look. Until next time! Vigdis. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Abelard.
Lord Captain.
Abelard greets you with customary courtesy, but makes sure to scan you from head to toe with his scrutinizing gaze. Let's talk about things that may be useful to me as a rogue trader.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Who are the main players I need to be aware of in the Coronis Expanse?
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Coronis Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness.
Testing toothache on cereal, man likes to live dangerously. You jump straight into crunchy, you gotta go for soft first. Well, hold on. To keep in mind, I had a root canal. So the root canal, that nerve is not available now. So that tooth shouldn't be feeling pain. However, the area around it in the gums is very like inflamed and stuff because they beat the living crap out of it. You know, like they had this gizmo in my mouth that pried my mouth wide while they were working in there for 4 hours, so the gum was bleeding a bit during that and stuff like that. And then also the teeth next to it, they did fillings on them, and I think it's actually them that hurt more than the root canal tooth. I think it's actually the ones next to it. But I don't know. In any case, I finished my Lucky Charms with the left-hand side of my face, and then rinsed with water because I can't brush that one right now. Speaking of, also I can use a straw again. Last night I couldn't use a straw because the right-hand side of my mouth was still numb, and so I couldn't like only the left side of my mouth would do the motion required to use a straw. The right side would not.
Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Caligos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them. If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall, and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces, and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Coronis Expanse.
Technological heresies. Kunrad, our previous master of whispers. What can you tell me about his betrayal? What do you think he'll do next?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight. We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the Von Velatius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps.
Probably not.
As you wish, Lord Captain. Lord Captain.
Let's see.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
I wish to know the truth about you, Pascal.
The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagus Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma.
What did Amanat do?
He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things.
So is he looking at heresy stuff?
My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and forced worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it.
Fascinating.
Acknowledged.
How did you betray Amanat?
The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the cognizant fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected brothers, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizance fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen, anathematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagus Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate Traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
I believe you acted as a loyal son of the Imperium should.
I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us.
The tech priest named Abel. Who is he?
Assessing his personality is difficult. The spirit of Brother Abel is different from that of most people. 10 comrades of the Cog call such persons quiet ones. He possesses significant intellect, but shuns communication.
Quick break. Sensei says, hi all, choosing a class in Guild Wars 2, Warrior, Guardian, and Thief. Which of the three are the best DPS and fun? Been trying to choose one. Hey, Sensei. All three of the, I mean, every single class has very solid endgame DPS builds. So it's not really a matter of like choosing the best one. I would say choosing the one that has the play style you enjoy the most would be important. Warrior, you know, just hits things really hard. It does have Condi builds where it stacks up bleeding on the enemy. Thief has builds that do power damage. You know, Thief is more about being slippery than it is being strong. You know, dexterity over strength type of thing. Has effective condition damage builds and power builds. Guardian is kind of like a warrior with a touch of paladin. You know, they can do hand-to-hand stuff, but also set enemies on fire 20 times. You know, that, I think really you would just be down to choosing the one that sounds the most fun to you.
So far, I have not been able to determine why Abel summoned me to Rykat Minoris, how he is related to the Blessed Ammonat, or why he bears the same name as me. Perhaps Reverend Abel may not be fully able to actualize and interpret the available data.
You know what would be crazy? If the other Pascal is the real Pascal, and if this Pascal is Amernit, the one he betrayed, and they like reset, they factory reset his head or something. Why did you go to Rykat Minoris?
I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the Blessed Ammonat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain: we were in danger, and I had to go to Rykat Minoris.
Alright, that's good. That's enough for now. Okay. So this guy leveled up too. Let's see. And he's got the biomancy staff. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong guy. This guy has the biomancy staff. Let's see. We got Epicenter Slaughter. Hubby had a bit of a gamer rage playing that last night, playing Paladins last night, and his control key popped off, and I had to find it for him. Are you saying that your husband has lost control? Desolation. The warrior deals an additional +4 damage to enemies that have no allies in adjacent cells. Thick skin, +1 deflection. Their parry chances increase by 25% of their total armor. Open engagement. Let's see. Hold on. This guy's such a weird build because he's like psyker / warrior. The first time momentum reaches 200 during the Psyker's turn, the Psyker gains +5 to all characteristics, +1 to resolve deflection, and damage to that Psyker deals until the end of combat. Let's get the bleed thing.
Hey, look, it's the Tree of Birds. How are you today?
Hello, bird tree. The Xenos thing. Willpower. Let's see. Dueling mastery. Let's get nimble. Daring breach. We already have that one. Okay. So now we get to choose one of these. Assassin, Arch-Militant, or Vanguard. Arch-Militant doesn't really fit him that well. Assassin? I think Vanguard for him. Let's just do that. Alright. Save game. Hey, chat, how's the pain? It's okay, Jackals. As long as I don't shoot with the right-hand side. Alright, so we're starting Chapter 2 now. Lord Captain, Ravor's voice over the Vox sounds weary rather than annoyed. I'm getting reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact that they're not responding to our hails and the telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they're not here for a chinwag. Ready to issue orders to prepare for battle at your command. Could this be the work of Kunrad Voigtveer? The silence over the Vox lasts several seconds. It's possible. He could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of our ship and decided to push his luck. Can we evade this combat? He snorts or perhaps chuckles. I don't think so, Lord Captain. There'd be no reason to. It'll be easier to blast these scum to smithereens than to evade them. We'll warn Footfall we're coming with a few macro salvos. Where did they come from? Why haven't you noticed them before? The rubbish of Furibundus, and I'm not talking about these wrecks that are about to open fire. I mean the remains of meteorites, gas clouds, or refuse from the shipyards. It all bunches together, and the smaller ships hide behind it to harass ships as they emerge from the warp. On my order, all stations get ready for void combat. Muck, I forgot to remind you, since you're always using that straw, do not use straws after dental work. I specifically asked them if I could use straws, and they said, yeah, this wasn't a tooth extraction. Straw's fine. That's what the professionals do. What is this screen? Moving the ship in combat. You've engaged the enemy in space combat. Battles in space and on the surface of planets work quite differently from one another. In space combat, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by various degrees of brightness. Acceleration zone, mid-movement zone, end movement zone. He just like runs into him. Ships travel at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies must move a certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once your ship has traversed the minimum required distance upon entering an end movement zone. To move the ship, click left mouse button on any accessible cell on the battlefield. Once you do, you'll see a hologram of the ship that will allow you to evaluate the efficiency of future attacks and actions from that position just as you would regular combat. Click again to okay. Zero to 3 damage. Doesn't say how much damage that's gonna do. Short range shot, aggregate has to do 2 shots doing 14 damage per. Let's try the Mezzoa Lance. You have an arsenal of weapons which differ in certain. No, I didn't get to see it. offering you a variety of ways to assault your weapons. Some ships are protected by shields. To deal damage to such an enemy, you must first pierce their shields. 2 shield arrays cover the ship's side, one its bow, one its stern. When facing an enemy equipped with shields, choose your angle of attack wisely and direct your fire at a side where the shields are weakened or completely depleted. Note that enemy shields recover each round. The Rogue Trader's flagship is likewise protected by shields. If an enemy attacks you from a side where the shields are weakened or depleted, the ship will take damage. The damage shields do not recover at the start of the next turn. Instead, they can be restored using the Restart Shields action on the panel at the bottom of the screen. We have to turn them off and on again? Restarting the shields reduces the flagship's combat efficiency. On its next turn, it will have reduced movement speed and firing range. We had a miss? You have fired a torpedo salvo. Torpedoes will appear next in the priority order. Once their turn begins, you'll be able to direct them. Your own torpedoes can pass through the space occupied by your flagship without damaging it. As soon as torpedoes reach a cell adjacent to any enemy, they explode. Enemy ships can attack your torpedoes and destroy them before they reach their target. One well-placed shot destroys 1 torpedo in a salvo. What is this? Oh, that's restart shields. That did not look like much damage. I guess restart the shields. Hey, I hope you're well. I know dental issues never joke. They grind my teeth as well. Ah ha 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 ha. As opposed to your gears. Torpedoes! The battle is over. Enemy attacks can penetrate your shields and damage your ship's hull. This damage remains after the battle is over and must be repaired. Open the Void Ship Management screen, V, to make repairs to the ship. Use scrap to repair your ship and restore hull integrity. Scrap can be found while exploring star systems, collected after certain space battles, or purchased from merchants affiliated with various factions. Oh god. Our ship is definitely... Your ship is named Rock the Boat? Yeah. Is that a problem? 76 out of 120. Yes, repair.